It had been months since my last video, and the likes and subscriptions were way down. I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't know what game to cover next. My ideas were as empty as the bottle of booze sitting on my desk. I was contemplating ending my YouTube career when she walked into my Steam account. She was inspiration personified. She was my muse. She turned my world upside down and inside out. She was everything a content creator could want. She was the perfect full motion video game to review. She was Tex Murphy under a killing moon, and it was my destiny to beat and review this classic in full motion gaming. How you doing, fellow geeks? GamerDad79 here. Today we are talking about Tex Murphy Under a Killing Moon, the next video in a series focusing on full motion gaming, both past and present. So Tex Murphy came out back in 1994, and it is a Tex Murphy Under a Killing Moon came out in 1994, and it is a detective noir type of game, right? It has that feel to it, and it's really a budget. It really feels like a B. If there was ever a B video game, like B movies, if there was ever a B video game, Tex Murphy Under a Killing Moon is that type of a game. But that just adds to the charm of it, guys, right? That's, to my opinion, that really adds to the overall feel and what they were kind of going for in this type of a game. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this review. I'm going to read to you the description of the plot, and we'll go into the game, right? So, the plot for Under a Killing Moon, it takes place in a post-World War III San Francisco in December of 2042, so sometime in the future. After the devastating events of a nuclear war, major cities have been rebuilt, though certain areas still remain as they were before the war. The war also left a mark on the world, the formation of two different classes of citizens. On one side, you have the people who have developed a natural resistance against the radioactivity from the nuclear fallout and are considered normal, or norms as they're called in the game, and everyone else are mutants in some form or another. There's some tension between the two groups. It has risen dramatically, and norms and mutants usually do not get along. The mutants are generally forced to live in the rundown areas, and Tex Murphy lives on Chandler Avenue in Old San Francisco, where the mutants are located. All of Tex's friends are mutants, even though he's a normal. Okay, I don't think he has very many normal friends, at least not portrayed in the game. In Under a Killing Moon, he's a private investigator. He's hit rock bottom. Recently divorced from his wife Sylvia. He's out of work, low on cash, living in a rundown part of Old San Francisco. He realizes he has to get his act together. He sets out to hunt for work. He quickly finds something once he discovers that the pawn shop across the street from his apartment has been robbed. Tex quickly solves the case and feels like his luck has begun to change. A mysterious woman, calling herself Countess Rainier, having heard good things about Tex, hires him to find her missing statuette. Everything seems great at first, and the Countess is promising to pay Tex more money than he has seen in his life. However, everything quickly goes downhill when Tex finds out about a doomsday plot by a deadly cult calling themselves the Brotherhood of Purity. Alright, so that was the plot right there, right? And it definitely has that B movie feel to it. Like I said earlier, it has a B. If there was ever a B video game, Tex Murphy is that type of game, okay? Under a Killing Moon is the third entry in the Tex Murphy series. However, it's the first in the series to feature fully 3D environments, right? You can fully free roam in these environments, and it fully took advantage of the full motion video technology at the time. It's the first one in the series. That's why I did it. The other ones are more adventure style. We just click on things on the screen, and there will be clips of full motion video. But this is the first one where you can fully move around in a 3D environment, interact with the environment, interact with the people in the environment, and everything is full motion. Now, the whole game takes place on a green screen, okay? And everything in your environment as you're walking around is flat. Okay, it is completely flat. It looks like cardboard cutouts of everything. But like I said earlier, guys, that's kind of what adds to the charm of the game, at least in my opinion, and why I liked it so much. It was part of what made it fun. What didn't make it fun was controlling text in these environments. For some reason, instead of using the arrow keys or WASD, they decided it would be a good idea to use the mouse to move text around in this 3D environment. Generally, you can go from place to place just by clicking this travel button, okay? But there are some environments that you have to actually move around in. Generally, it's not that big of a deal. It's not an action game. It still has its roots in the adventure game where you have to click on stuff on the screen and interact with people, talk with people. You're grilling them. You're getting information from them. You're a private investigator, right? There's one part of the game that frustrated me to no end. The rest of the game I found relatively simple. Didn't require too much logic. It was a fun game. There's one scene where you have to break into a office building to investigate the cult that I was talking about earlier. Well, in the office building, there is this robot that is wandering around the building or the floor that you're on. It's a security robot. If this thing finds you, you're dead automatically, right? There's no getting away from it. And as I said, the controls were very frustrating to deal with in the regular sections of the game. In this part, where you have to stay away from this robot, I don't know how many times I died. I died so many times playing this scene in this game. It just frustrated me, okay? Finally, I was able to get past it. The game's got a really good hint system that is very forgiving. So if you're ever lost, if you ever don't know what to do, the hint system will actually help you out quite a bit. It's very rare, in my opinion, for games back then to be that helpful. Most of the times, the games back then were just like, here you go, you're in this world, figure it out for yourself. Which took you out, you got to find FAQs and walkthroughs online to figure out how to get through this game. Now, the hint system in this game was actually really, really good. Eventually, I got through that part and was able to enjoy the rest of the game in all its cheesy glory. As I said earlier, you know, everything is kind of flat. That did lead to some frustrations in finding things. Like if there was something on a counter somewhere that you had to find, and, you know, since everything is flat, you weren't sure if that was something that you could actually interact with, or sometimes you would just pass it right by. And while the hint system said, hey, find this in this place, I really couldn't find it. And I had to look on, you know, I did have to go to an FAQ a couple of times to say, oh, it's on this counter in this corner. And I'd be like, oh, okay, there it is. I had to find it now, you know. A little frustrating in that regard. But otherwise in that, other than those two small things, I really enjoyed the game. The game had some surprise guest appearances, especially for its time. And there's two big guest appearances, and they're both hilarious. One is Carrie Fisher, okay, and she plays a bartender with an attitude, and it's great. She plays a Norm in the game, and she's a bartender with an attitude, and she gives Tex a lot of flack through the scene where she's in, and she's great. Probably the best actress in the game, the best actress in the game. Most of them are pretty low-end actors and actresses that I would say couldn't act themselves out of a paper bag. But again, it's one of those things that adds to the charm of the game. It's so cheesy and so bad. There's one death scene in the game that is really terrible. I found myself laughing through it, but I kind of think that's what they were going for when they made this game. They really weren't trying to take it too seriously, and they weren't trying to take the subject matter very seriously, and that was fine. That really made the game shine, in my opinion. The other guest appearance really wasn't an appearance. It was his voice. It was the voice of Darth Vader himself, James Earl Jones. And that was great. So you can die in this game. Like I said earlier, you can lose, but there are greater powers at work that are trying to make sure Tex succeeds in his endeavor. And you kind of get the impression that James Earl Jones is God, because he's able to bring Tex back to life throughout the game and allow him to continue on with his investigation. And every time you die, James Earl Jones would come and kind of insult you and bring you back to life. So it was great. It was a lot of fun. It was really, really awesome. And just like any detective noir type game, it had a lot of great one-liners and a lot of great quotes. And I think my favorite in there is somewhere towards the end, Tex mutters the line, "Guns don't kill private eye, sweetheart. Love does." And it was awesome. That was probably some of my favorite thing. Tex has got some great one-liners in this game. As far as my overall impression of the game, like I said, I love the B-movie feel to it. I think it was great. The effects are terrible. CGI, special effects are terrible. But again, that adds to the charm. And at the end of the day, I had a blast playing the game. And I think that's what matters. I had a lot of fun with the game. I had a lot of fun experiencing this old game. Came back, I think I told you guys already, came back in 1994. I really enjoyed playing it, and I can't wait to play the next in the series. I'm going to move on to something more modern for my next full motion video game that I review, but I can't wait to go back and experience more of what Tex Murphy has. And from what I understand, they're getting ready to release a new version, or they're in the middle of filming a new Tex Murphy game. So I'm excited about that. I've kind of fallen in love with Tex and his world with that game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes next. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. So let me know, have you ever played Tex Murphy, any of the Tex Murphy games? You ever played Tex Murphy Under a Killing Moon? What did you think about the game? Did you agree with my assessment and my review here? As always, if you like this video, please hit like, please hit subscribe. Go ahead and share. I would really appreciate it. And until next time, guys, keep on geeking on.